intent, obsessed of making a discovery. Our market cap's, just under 12 million, and with the cash that we've got, our EV is very low. With a small share register, gives good leverage for a discovery.
Hi and welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us for today's webinar. My name is Kalani Brown and I'm an account manager at Investability. Joining me today is Shane Pike, Managing Director of Great Western Exploration, who will be providing an update on the company, its current projects and their recent ASX announcements. If at any time you have any questions, please feel free to type them into the Q&A panel at the bottom of your screen and we'll get to them at the end. And without further ado, I'll now hand back to Shane. Please take it away.
Thanks, Kalani, and thanks everyone joining us today. We've got a presentation here that I'll run through about who Great Western is and what we're looking to achieve. So Great Western is a greenfields exploration company. We're looking for nickel, copper and gold deposits, primarily in Western Australia. Here's our corporate summary here. We've got just over 250 million shares on issue, so fairly tight structure. Our share price as of yesterday was 4.7 cents, which gives us a market capitalisation of just under 12 million. The cash at the end of April was 3.8, so we've actually got a fairly low EV there when you take into our cash consideration. We've got an experienced board of management there, headed by our chairman, Kevin Soames, who's a chartered accountant. He's an experienced businessman with multiple successful business ventures. Self as managing director, I'm a geologist. I've spent 50% of my time in exploration and 50% of my time in mining geology, so broad experience across the industry. Started my career in the late 90s, so over 20 years experience with Equigold in Western Australia, and I've worked for companies such as Evolution Mining, which I was with them from their start, and Newcrest, as well as a number of other junior exploration companies. One of our other non-executive directors is Ross Williams, who's an experienced businessman. He co-funded a mining services company from startup to ASX listing with a market cap of greater than 400 million. Gray Egerton Warburton, he's a corporate finance professional. He's led a substantial number of capital raises, managing many successful takeovers and mergers of ASX listed companies. And Tony Walsh is our company secretary. He's had greater than 30 years experience dealing with ASX listed companies. He's the ex-Perth listings manager and was also the ASX liaison to the JORC committee. Three things that I'd like everyone to take away from this presentation about Great Western. First of all, we're exploring in the Tier 1 jurisdiction of WA. We have a large ground holding of greater than 5,000 square kilometres on known fertile structures that host world-class deposits. We've got a big work program coming up. We're currently drilling at Firebird, and we expect to be drilling at Angus and Fairburn after our drilling at Firebird. And we've got other work in the background getting targets to drill-ready status, such as our Sandfire joint venture and Eurida South. The second key takeaway here is that we run an efficient and focused exploration program. We constantly rank our targets in a technical way and apply some science to that to ensure that we have the greatest chance of making an exploration discovery. Thirdly, we've got an experienced team that is absolutely focused on making a discovery and returning significant shareholder value. We've got a strong share register with greater than 50% of our shareholders being held by the board, management and cornerstone shareholders. And we have a very low corporate overheads. Greater than 85% of our exploration funds go into the ground to give us a discovery. Our directors don't take a fee, which is probably, if not the only one, of very select few on the ASX to do so. They're looking to capitalise on a discovery and the big increase in the share price. And again, tight capital structure, just over 250 million shares. It gives leverage to any exploration success we have. The first project that I'm going to discuss here today is Firebird Gold Project. We're currently drilling at this project right now. Firebird is located 30 km southwest of Wiluna. It's a very large soil anomaly in Archean greenstones, hosting the majority of the large gold deposits in Western Australia. This soil anomaly that we're drill testing, 3.7 km long, 450 meters wide, strangely has never been drill tested. It's not a new soil anomaly. It has been around for a little bit, and we actually couldn't believe it hadn't been tested. We ran our own program over the top of it, and not only got the similar results, but we actually extended some of the soil anomalism that we have there. Due to the large size of this anomaly, we've elected to complete cost-effective air core drilling over this before racing into it and testing with the more expensive conventional RC. And when we get results back from that, which we believe we should get some fantastic results from this, we're going to chase that up with further RC drill testing. The Fairburn Nickel Copper Project. This project was one of the main draw cards that brought me to Great Western. So a little bit of background. Back in 2016, Geoscience Australia released a report having a look at magmatic nickel copper projects such as Nova, and why there isn't more of those found in Australia. And what they came up with is that in this hashed area that you see in that figure, is that's the margin of the Yilgarn Craton there in Western Australia. And in this location, the crust here is thinner, and where you get these larger faults, such as the Ockerbury fault in red there, that traverse the entire craton, where that hits the margin, the crust being thinner here, that fault has greater chance of tapping metal-rich mantle, allowing those fluids to ascend to the surface, making magmatic nickel copper deposits. After this paper was released, Chalice discovered the Julimar deposit in a similar position, and Great Western pegged the Fairburn project, which is effectively the mirror image of Nova on the opposite side of the Yilgarn Craton, right next to the Ockerbury fault, which we think has a good chance of finding a magmatic nickel copper project there. This very little work has been undertaken here previously, with the work that has been done limited to work done in the 80s and 90s looking for diamonds in that area. They drilled magmatic highs that they interpreted were potential diamond pipes, but what they did hit was nickel and ultramafic rocks, which is the key ingredient for finding magmatic nickel copper deposits such as Nova. They didn't do a lot of assaying because they were looking for diamond indicator minerals, but the limited assaying that was completed there returned results of greater than 1,000 ppm nickel, so high nickel results. Government mapping there, it maps this area as being sediments and granites. So finding mafic and ultramafic rocks here is incredibly important, which has been done. Great Western earlier on this year completed an airborne EM survey, which highlighted 7 electromagnetic conductors that warrant further follow-up. This figure here are 2 of those conductors that have been modelled, and those 2 of the holes here that was drilled in the 1990s, there wasn't any assays with this hole, but what they did intersect when they not only did they intersect mafic deposits, which is a key ingredient as I said before, but they did intersect copper sulfide mineralization, which is really important, and we interpret this as being outboard mineralization from the EM conductor that we've modelled here. So the further work that we're going to complete here, we're going to get on the ground and we're going to complete a ground EM survey to really tighten up that EM plate that's been modelled and we will aim to go and drill test. The Atlee Gold Project. So the Atlee Gold Project is located close to Sandstone. It's located along the You-and-Me fault, which is a known fertile producing fault. It's a gold producer. You-and-Me, Rocks Resources You-and-Me project. It's got 3.5 million ounces defined along this fault, and Penny West, which is around 600,000 ounces, has also been defined along this fault as well. The Atlee Gold Project, it's mostly covered with sands and gravels, which is very, very thin, only about a metre thin. But the work that we've done there, completed soil sampling there using the Ultra CSIRO developed ultrafine soil sampling technique, which defines discrete gold anomalism very well and looks like it can see through cover. And we've defined some large soil anomalies down there that we aim to drill test in conjunction with further RC drill testing at Firebird. The Lakeway Potash project, the SO4 are currently developing their Lakeway project, which is on a very large paleo channel. SO4 have been developing this project for a while, and they've recently been purchased by a European company that has green-lighted the project and is getting the development of that project back underway. Their paleo channel that they've defined continues on into Great Western Tenure and is, as I said, the downstream continuation of it. Some of the bore fields that was drilled in the 1990s for WMC, they're looking for water to feed their Mount Keith operations. They actually returned high-grade potash brine levels with their drilling. We recently completed a passive seismic survey there to better define that paleo channel, and we're currently modelling this data now, and hopefully report back to the market with that. We've got a 26D water licence granted over the project, and what that allows us to do is complete 40 exploration bores and build 10 production bores, which we hope will allow us to complete a JORC resource standard on the paleo channel, and hopefully take us all the way to a feasibility study for a standalone project. The Eurida North joint venture, this is a joint venture with Sandfire Resources. So this project is located within the Eurida Basin, nearby the DeGrussa and Monty VHMS copper and copper gold deposits. Now, both of these deposits are within the Birria Basin, which is a similar age as the Eurida Basin, but the difference being that the Eurida Basin is vastly unexplored. The Sandfire is sole funding exploration on this, and they've been doing some great work. They recently completed a airborne gravimetry survey over the entire area, which will allow a good fault model or structural model to be developed. Up until this date, there's been a really good geological model that has modelled the prospective horizons for DeGrussa style VHMS deposits, but what they haven't had is a good fault model, which will, number one, allow them to target their exploration much better and shortcut the discovery process, but also to give the opportunity to define blind targets for testing. So Sandfire are active there. They're on the ground mapping, completing surface sampling of those projects, working them up with the aim to have drill-ready targets for testing at the end of this year. And the last project that I'll discuss is the Golden Corridor project. This is located 60 kilometres north of Wiluna. So Wiluna is hosted by the Wiluna Greenstone, and that field has produced and defined over 11 million ounces, and more would have been defined there, except it does go underneath basin cover to the north, the ground of which that we hold. We've been completing magnetic and gravity modelling of the basin cover, and we think that the cover is much thinner than has what previously been interpreted. The soil sampling that we've been completing here has showed up a number of gold targets, gold anomalism, which really shouldn't be within the Proterozoic cover that's there, and we think it's leakage of the Wiluna greenstone that's underneath this basin. We applied for and got approved Western Australian government co-funding under their EIS initiative to complete a drill hole to test the depth, number one, depth of the cover and the gold anomalism within this project, and we aim to test that later on this year. So in summary, we've got world-class tenure in the world-class jurisdiction of Western Australia, large ground holding, greater than 5,000 square k's. We're currently drilling at Firebird and aim to drill at both Angus and Fairburn, and we've got other targets that we're working up both on the Sandfire joint venture with Gurita North, as well as work we're completing in the background on the rest of our tenure. We've got a strong supportive share register with greater than 50% of our shareholding held by the board and management and cornerstone shareholders, and we have very low corporate overheads. Greater than 85% of our funds go directly into the ground. We don't pay our directors a fee. They want to participate in the discovery upside that our share price will bring, and we are absolutely focused, obsessed even, on making the discovery on our ground.
Thank you, Shane, for the update, and it's lovely to see all the projects happening with Great Western Exploration at the moment. I'd just like to reiterate that if anyone does have any questions, to type them into the Q&A panel and we will get to them. We've had a few people submit questions prior to our webinar today, so I'll start with those ones first. So our first one was, why do you think investors should sit up and take notice of Great Western Exploration?
As per my update, we've got big ground holding in fertile regions of Western Australia that have a really strong chance of making a discovery. We have a focused and disciplined program that we put scientific reasoning to. These deposits, they're not made by magic. There is some science that we can put into this to streamline making a discovery, and we're channeling all our funds into it. 85% of our funds are going into exploration. And
having so many projects, how is Great Western allocating resources amongst the 6 projects, and in what order?
Yeah, look, we've got a good team. We, as I said, we're constantly ranking our projects and prioritising those that we think are going to give us the best chance of success. Most of our hard work has been done. We've in the last couple of years, Great Western has done a number of surface sampling programs, surface geophysics programs that are now coming to fruition. Things like Firebird, Fairburn, both and Angus as well. Both of those, if not at drill ready status or not being drilled, close to. So that work has been done. Yeah, that's going to give us what I think a discovery.
And can you go into a little bit more detail? I know you gave us an overview of yourself, but more detail on your background and experience with prior firms?
Yeah. As I said, I've over 20 years experience in the industry. I started with Nick Georgetta's Equigold back in the late 90s in Western Australia. I was with them for many years. In fact, there's many Equigold related or ex-Equigold people on our share register. Great company to work for. I was with Evolution Mining for many years as well, from their commencement through to 2018, as well as other companies like Newcrest and other junior exploration companies. Got 50% of my time is in mining geology, 50% of my time has been in exploration. So I'd like to think I've got broad experience over the industry.
And what are Great Western Exploration's upcoming news flow catalysts?
Yeah, so our number one priority is Firebird. So that program has been belting along effectively, and we expect assay results. Look, we're saying two months, but we're hoping that we've come back to the industry norm, which is 21 days. So anywhere between 4 to 8 weeks from the completion of that program, we expect to get assay results back. We're going to get on the ground at Fairburn and clear the way there for an EM survey to be completed. We're going to get on the ground there. We've been delayed a little bit with the wet weather that came with the cyclone that crossed through there, but we're going to be on the ground early June with the EM survey completing, hopefully not too long after that. And Angus, drill testing at Angus, they'll be the next news flow. We expect to come back and RC drill test Firebird with some of the results that we get back from our air core program, and we'll drill test Angus around that same time.
What is the possibility of your tenements near Wiluna and Yuan potentially holding refractory ore?
You know, Wiluna is renowned for having refractory ore, but there's also 11 million ounces defined there, you know, and people have made a go of it, made money out of it before. However, we are talking about greenstone exploration here in greenstone style deposits, and not all of those deposits will be refractory mineralization.
And is there any parting words that you would like to leave your investors with today?
Yeah, look, we're intent, obsessed of making a discovery, got a low EV, our market cap just under 12 million, and with the cash that we've got, yeah, our EV is very low, which with a small share register gives good leverage for a discovery.
Thank you very much for joining me today, Shane, and thank you for everyone who joined us to learn more about Great Western Exploration. We look forward to keeping up to date on the projects.
All right, thank you, Chloe. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.